I've overcome all those things. How did I overcome the fear of death? I think maturity does that, and growing up and having your own children. So that was partly it. But I also remember being very afraid to see my stepfather's body as he lay in the coffin. I hadn't been there at the moment he died, everyone else had, so it was very important for me to seeing him there and actually touching his body, touching his hands, and give him a kiss on his cheek to say goodbye. And I realised, when I looked at him, he looked peaceful. And it's funny, but he wasn't there anymore. And that's how I can actually, express this to you. He was not there. It was like there was shell of his physical life, but he wasn't still in it. That's the amazing thing about seeing someone who's departed and lying there in a coffin. That certainly took away a bit of the fear of my own dying. And, I think as parents, we all fear dying when we've got children and grandchildren. We want to grow old and see all that. So, of course, if I get quite ill with asthma and a chest thing, and because I was a smoker, I can to this day think, oh my God, what if I die and I don't see the girls grow up, and what will Tiffy do without me? But at the same time, that's my daughter. But at the same time, I'm able to rationalise and go, stop. You're sick with asthma, okay? If you die, you've got no control over it. Who has a crystal ball? I nearly died in the year 2000 having a major car accident. I'm really lucky to be here. I smashed bones, I hemorrhaged, I had a fat embolism in my lung. Really, statistically, my specialists have told me I should have been dead. But I survived. I didn't know when I stepped into that car that afternoon on my long business trip back to Sydney that my partner, who was an engineer, would have an accident and hit an oil tanker, which was stretched across the Hume Highway, and we couldn't see him because all the lights were off. We were driving at 80, lucky we weren't driving at 100. Could I see that occurring? No. I never thought that day I would lose my liberty to walk for 12 months and another year to get back to work and back on my feet. I never knew that was going to happen. And so all the worrying in the world wouldn't have mattered, because no one can predict when we're going to die. There is only one certain thing in life that we should all be aware of. We're all going to die. Don't be fearful, because it's going to happen. No amount of fear is going to stop it. One day we're going to die. The big question is when and how will we die? And that is something we don't know. We don't have a crystal ball. I could finish this video, turn off the camera, get into my car, go to do a bit of shopping, and next minute something rams into me and I'm dead. All the worrying in the world's not going to change that situation. So I guess when I say be rational about these things, what I'm trying to say to you is rationalise that thinking about your death and worrying about it, which is something you have no control over of when and how it's going to happen, is just futile worrying and will lead you to anxiety and panic. And that's certainly going to bring you to a closer death, because it's definitely been shown in the brain that worry and anxiety does impact on us physically and can lead to being sick, our bodies physically getting sick, what we think makes us sick. So it's futile worrying about what we don't have control of. And so for this reason, it's extremely important that people look at their irrational thinking, and we have thousands of these irrational thoughts every day, automatic thinking, and to be able to be an observer of our thoughts and to make sure that we stop and think about what we're thinking, rationalise it, and change it. Say to ourselves, this is ridiculous. You don't know when you're going to die anyway, so stop. And one of the things that I think is really good to do is to also look at where you got your fears from. And once you realise that, maybe it will make it easier. You could have perhaps a phobia of spiders, for example, and you start screaming hysterically every time you see a spider and getting a panic attack. It could have just been, it may not have had to have something like people putting thousands of real spiders on you. It could have been that you got a fright from someone throwing a fake spider at you when you were a child. Fear of water. It could have just been that you fell into a pool and you accidentally sort of suddenly felt that feeling you were going to drown for one moment in your life. These fears don't necessarily come from really hugely traumatic events. Some do. but not always. So overcoming them, the only way that you can do is to rationalize the thinking and also facing those fears and those phobias by doing it. And you may need a friend or a counsellor to help you and walk along you till you can actually do it yourself. But certainly the only way to eradicate these fears is to actually face them and actually go through the process of doing it. I remember touching a snake stopped my snake dreams. I actually had that snake crawl all over me. It was a little python, and I was terrified of snakes, terrified. And every time I walked to my brother-in-law's house at the time, he had this pet python, and he'd have to put it in the tank, and I just didn't want it out. So one night I decided I would try and face that fear, and I did, and the python crawled all over me, and you know, it was amazing. I don't fear snakes anymore. I don't still want to touch them. I have actually touched a friend's python and taken the python, no problem at all, because I knew it. But I'm not that fussed on snakes, to be honest, but it is not like I see one a few metres away, I'm going to run a mile anymore. I could just like stand there and think, oh yeah, that's a snake, and look at it. So yeah, these are fears. And look, I must also say, you know, I do get the question, but you know, of course we have to think of our future. Well, yes, of course we have to think of our future. We may think we need to have, you know, insurance against an accident, so you know, income protection insurance, or we plan for our retirement. This is not what I'm trying to say. Of course, these things we should plan for. This is rational thinking. However, irrational thinking is when it becomes a real problem, where you're worrying unnecessarily about something you have no control of. And this is when it becomes a problem, and this is when we end up with anxiety and phobias such as agoraphobia, phobias of the dark, phobias of water, phobias of death and dying. And so it's very, very important that we try and control that by monitoring what we're thinking and then rationalising it. Even if you have to write it down, rationalise, and also then go and try and face those fears and get rid of them by facing it and actually doing it. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Change my life. Of course, all the psychology I've studied has changed my life, and that's why I'm passing it all on to you. It's cognitive behavioural therapy. That's what I practice. It's about monitoring your thoughts and thinking more rationally. And so this particular video, I really, really hope it has helped you, and that you will face your fears and overcome those, because it gives you an incredible freedom in life. It's great for me having no more fears like that in my life. So take care, and I hope this video has helped you, and great chatting with you, and I look forward to your company again on more videos that I will be posting on YouTube. Bye bye for now. And oh, by the way, please can you share the video? It gets to more people. It takes you 1 second, and click like, please, if you like my videos, and subscribe if you're interested in subscribing for more of my videos to help you heal your life. Take care. It's Jayne Green from PD Training. Bye for now.